Before we dive into tonight's tale, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want more creepy stories that will keep you up at night. So there's Tom, this 39-year-old mechanic who's built like a brick wall. Square jaw, hands rough from years of wrenching on engines, and a guy who doesn't trust anyone who wears a tie or flashes a badge. He's sprawled out on this faded red picnic blanket at Niagara Falls Prospect Point, the kind with frayed edges that's seen too many summers. The afternoon sun's beating down, turning the mist from the falls into this shimmering haze that catches the light just right. He's got a cold beer in his hand, condensation dripping onto his knuckles, and he's squinting out at the water, watching it thunder over the edge like it's got somewhere to be. The roar of the falls is this constant rumble in the background, loud enough that you feel it in your chest, but after a while, it just blends into the day. Next to him is Jess, his wife, 37, a high school teacher who's got this sharp way about her, like she could stare down a room full of rowdy freshmen and have them quiet in 10 seconds flat. She's fussing with their cooler, the cheap plastic kind with a squeaky lid, pulling out sandwiches wrapped in foil and muttering about how the ice is already half melted. "I told you we should have sprung for the good one, Tom," she says, brushing a strand of dark hair out of her face with the back of her wrist. Her voice has that edge of irritation, but there's a steadiness there too. She's the type who keeps it together when everything else falls apart. Tom just grunts, taking a swig of his beer, and mutters back, "Works fine, Jess. We're not camping for a week." Then there's Maddie, their 14-year-old daughter, slouched a few feet away on the grass, all teenage defiance wrapped up in a black hoodie and purple hair that she dyed herself in the bathroom sink last month. Jess still hasn't forgiven her for the stains on the tile. Maddie's got her phone in her hand, thumb flicking across the screen, snapping selfies with the falls in the background. "This place is so boring," she groans, loud enough for Tom to hear over the water. He rolls his eyes and says, "You wanted to come, kid. Put the phone down and eat something." She doesn't even look up, just flips her hair and keeps scrolling, the click of her camera app mixing with the distant crash of the falls. It's one of those lazy summer days, you know? Families all around them, kids chasing each other with dripping ice cream cones, an old guy in a bucket hat tossing breadcrumbs to some greedy seagulls. The air smells like wet rock and sunscreen, with that faint tang of hot dogs from a vendor cart down the path. Tom stretches out his legs, boots scuffing the dirt, and leans back on his elbows, figuring this is as good as it gets, a little break from the grease and grime of the garage. But then, bam, their phones go off all at once. That harsh, blaring EAS tone cuts through the air, the kind that makes your stomach drop because you know it's never good news. Tom fumbles his beer, nearly spilling it as he grabs his phone from his pocket. Jess freezes mid-sandwich, her eyes darting to Maddie, who's already swiping to see what's up. The robotic voice kicks in, crackling through their speakers. "This is an emergency alert. A dam failure has released contaminants into Niagara Falls. Evacuate low ground immediately. This is not a drill." The words hang there, heavy, and for a second, nobody moves. Tom's the first to snap out of it. He's on his feet, squinting at the falls, and that's when he sees it. The water's shifting. It's not just mist and white foam anymore. It's turning this deep, ugly red, like someone dumped a tanker of paint into the river upstream. The roar of the falls doesn't change, but there's this new sound now, a low gurgle under it, wet and wrong. And the smell hits, a sharp chemical stink, like bleach mixed with something rotten, cutting through the fresh air. Jess wrinkles her nose, standing up slow, and says, "Tom, what the hell is that?" He doesn't answer right away, just stares, his jaw tightening like he's piecing something together. Maddie's still got her phone up, filming now, her voice shaky but stubborn. "Guys, look at this. It's freaking red. This is insane." She zooms in, panning across the water, and Tom snaps, "Maddie, put that damn thing away and get over here." But she ignores him, because of course she does. She's 14 and thinks she's invincible. Jess steps over, grabbing the cooler lid and slamming it shut, her hands moving fast now. "We need to go, Tom. Now." Before they can even grab their stuff, this figure comes barreling through the crowd. Agent Ruiz, a FEMA responder who looks like she's seen too much to ever sleep right again. She's 50, skin weathered from years in the field, dark hair pulled back tight under her hazmat suit's hood. The suit rustles as she moves, that plasticky crinkle loud even over the growing chaos. She's shouting, her voice hoarse but firm, "Everyone, move! Checkpoint's up the hill! Go, go!" People are scrambling now, blankets abandoned, kids crying as parents scoop them up. Ruiz locks eyes with Tom, pointing at him like she's sizing him up. "You, get your family and follow me. No detours." Tom's not having it. He steps forward, chest out, and says, "Hold up, what's going on?" That alert said dam failure, but that water looks like a damn factory spill. Ruiz doesn't flinch, just adjusts the mask dangling at her neck and barks back, "No time for questions. Move or you're staying here to swim in it." Jess tugs at his arm, her grip tight. "Tom, come on. She's not wrong. We can't stay." He grumbles, but he grabs the blanket, shaking it out with a quick snap before stuffing it under his arm. Maddie's still filming, backing up slow, and that's when she catches it, a shape in the water. It's blurry at first, just a dark smudge against the red, but then it breaks the surface. It's human-like, but not quite. Arms too long, bending backward at the elbows in this jerky, unnatural way, like a puppet with half its strings cut. Its head twitches, water streaming off it, and Maddie gasps, "What is that?" Her voice cracks, but she keeps the phone steady, streaming it live to her handful of followers. The figure's there 1 second, gone the next, sinking back into the churning red, leaving these weird ripples spreading out. The crowd's screams kick up, sharp and panicked, and Maddie's stream glitches. Her phone stutters, the audio warping into this mess of static and yells. Tom hears it too, his own voice echoing back faint and distorted, like it's trapped in the wind. He spins around looking for the source, but there's nothing, just the falls, the red water, and that smell getting thicker. Jess grabs Maddie's arm, yanking her close, her face pale but her voice steady. "Enough, Mads. We're leaving." Maddie resists, twisting to keep filming, but Jess doesn't let go. Ruiz is waving them on now, her boots pounding the dirt as she heads toward a line of orange cones marking the checkpoint. Tom's lagging a step behind, his mind racing. He mutters to Jess, low so Maddie doesn't hear, "Dams don't spill like that, Jess. That's no mud, that's chemicals. This whole thing stinks like a cover-up." Jess nods barely, her eyes flicking to the water. "I know, but we can't figure it out here. Let's just get safe first." As they hustle after Ruiz, the wind picks up, carrying this faint, looping whisper. They lied. It's so quiet Tom thinks he imagined it, but it's there, threading through the roar of the falls. He shakes his head, chalking it up to the chaos, but then Maddie's phone crackles again, her dead stream flickering with that same phrase in the static. The figure's ripples fade, but the screams linger, bouncing off the rocks, and Tom swears one of them sounds like him, like he's already part of whatever's coming. They're moving fast now, Ruiz leading them up the hill, her hazmat suit catching the sun as the red water creeps closer to the shore. The checkpoint's ahead, a mess of flashing lights and shouting FEMA guys, and Tom's gut twists. He knows this is just the start. So, the family's stumbling their way toward the Rainbow Bridge now, the air thick with that chemical stink, like someone cracked open a barrel of paint thinner and let it fester. The path's a total mess, packed with tourists who look like they just realized this isn't some fun little detour on their vacation. People are shoving past each other, dragging suitcases with busted wheels, yelling over the dull roar of the falls that's still pounding in the distance. Tom's up front, his boots squelching in the wet grass, every step kicking up little sprays of mud. He's got that look on his face, like he's chewing on something sour, because the more he sees, the less this feels right. That red water's rising fast, lapping at their ankles now, oily and warm, like it's got a pulse of its own. He glances down, watching it swirl around his laces, and mutters under his breath, "This ain't no dam breaking. This is something else." Jess is right behind him, one arm hooked around Maddie, pulling her along like she's corralling a kid on a field trip gone sideways. She's still got that teacher vibe, calm, steady, but you can see it fraying at the edges. Her sneakers are soaked, the red water staining the white toes, and every few steps she's wiping her hands on her jeans, like she can feel that slickness sticking to her skin. "Stay close, Mads," she says, her voice firm but tight, like she's holding back a yell. Maddie's not making it easy, though. She's got her phone out again, filming everything, her purple hair plastered to her forehead from the mist. "Mom, chill, I'm fine," she snaps, yanking her arm free, but Jess grabs it right back, her knuckles whitening. "Not now, Maddie. Move." The bridge is up ahead, this big, hulking arch of steel stretching over the river, but getting there's like wading through a stampede. Car horns are blaring, sharp and insistent. As traffic jams up, some guy in a beat-up sedan leans out his window, shouting, "Get out of the way," at a family hauling a stroller through the muck. Tom shoulders past a couple of gawking college kids in Niagara Falls t-shirts, their phones up too, snapping pics like this is some Instagram moment. Maddie's still streaming, her voice cutting through the noise. "Guys, check this out. There's stuff in the water, like moving stuff." She zooms in on a stranded minivan, half submerged a few yards off the path, its hazard lights blinking weak and yellow. And there they are, those jerky, inhuman shapes, clawing at the windows, their limbs twitching like they're caught in a glitch. One of them slams a hand, or what looks like a hand, against the glass, leaving a streaky smear, and Maddie gasps, "Holy crap, did you see that?" Tom spins around, catching the tail end of it, and his eyes narrow. "What the hell are those things?" he says, loud enough that Jess flinches. She's staring too, her breath hitching, but she shakes it off fast, tugging Maddie harder. "We're not sticking around to find out. Come on." Before they can argue, Ruiz is there, cutting through the crowd like a knife. Her hazmat suit streaked with mud, the yellow fabric dull under the graying sky, and her boots thud heavy on the ground. "You three, into the van now," she yells, pointing at a FEMA rig parked crooked off the path, its engine rumbling low. Her voice is tight, like she's biting back something she doesn't want to say, and Tom clocks it right away. He plants his feet, crossing his arms. "Not till you tell us what's going on. That water's moving like it's alive, and those things." Ruiz cuts him off, stepping close, her face hard under the suit's hood. "You want to stand here and play detective, or you want to live? Get in." Jess doesn't wait. She's already hauling Maddie toward the van, the girl still filming over her shoulder. Tom curses under his breath, following slow, his fists clenched like he's ready to swing at the next thing that pisses him off. Inside the van, it's cramped and smells like rubber and sweat. Ruiz slides into the driver's seat, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the frame. Tom's up front with her, Jess and Maddie squeezed into the back between stacks of FEMA gear, boxes of masks, a dented first aid kit, a radio spitting static. The engine growls as Ruiz peels out, tires spinning in the mud before catching traction. Tom's watching her, his jaw working like he's grinding teeth. "You've seen this before, haven't you?" he says, not a question. Ruiz grips the wheel tighter, her knuckles showing through her gloves. "Yeah, years ago, a spill, same red mess." Her voice is clipped, like she's spitting out just enough to shut him up. "Spill from what?" Tom presses, leaning forward, his elbow knocking a clipboard off the dash. It hits the floor with a dull clack, papers scattering. Ruiz doesn't look at him, just keeps her eyes on the road, or what's left of it, with the flood swallowing everything low. "Doesn't matter now. We're getting you out." He snorts, loud and sharp. "Bullshit. You're dodging." In the back, Maddie's still got her phone up, the screen glowing faint as she mutters, "This is so messed up." Jess is peering out the window, her breath fogging the glass, and she stiffens. "Tom, look at that. It's not mud. It's got this sheen, like oil, but metal." She's right. The water's got this weird glint, catching the dim light like liquid steel. Tom twists around, squinting, and mutters, "That's industrial. No dam does that." The van jolts hard, tires skidding as Ruiz slams the brakes. They're at a roadblock, orange barriers and a couple of FEMA guys in suits like hers, waving flashlights. Beyond them, the flood's deeper, red waves slapping against a line of abandoned cars. A man staggers out of the water, his clothes dripping, his face slack. He's muttering gibberish, a string of nonsense.
"They cease."
And his eyes are this milky white, like he's blind but still looking right at them. He takes 2 shaky steps, then drops, face first into the mud, his fingers twitching once before going still. Jess sucks in a breath, her hand flying to Maddie's shoulder. "Oh my God," she whispers, pulling her daughter closer. Maddie's filming it, her hands shaky now, and the lens catches something else. In the mud by the guy's body, his twitching hand smears out these jagged letters. Run from us. It's quick, gone under the next ripple of water, and nobody in the van sees it, but it's there, burned into Maddie's stream for whoever's watching. Ruiz's radio crackles to life, a voice cutting through the static. Secure the perimeter. No survivors. It's cold, mechanical, and Tom loses it. He slams his fist into the dashboard, the thud echoing in the tight space. What the hell does that mean? No survivors? You're driving us into this crap. Talk! Ruiz doesn't answer, just hits a button on the door panel. The locks snap down with a loud click, and she guns the engine, veering deeper into the flood zone. Tom's yelling now, "Open the damn doors!" But Jess grabs his arm, her voice low and urgent. "Tom, stop. We're stuck with her for now." Something slaps the window by Maddie, a big, webbed handprint, too wide to be human, smearing red across the glass before sliding off. Jess jumps, a sharp, "What was that?" slipping out before she can stop it. The radio static shifts, and there's this giggle, like a kid but warped, bouncing through the speakers. Maddie's head snaps up, her eyes wide. "You're hiding something," she says, pointing at Ruiz, her voice shaking but bold. "What's out there?" Ruiz doesn't turn, just keeps driving, but her shoulders tense. Tom and Jess lock eyes in the rear view, and you can tell they're on the same page. Whatever Ruiz knows, it's bad, and trusting her's a gamble they might not win. The van rumbles on, water sloshing against the tires, and those shapes in the flood keep moving, just out of sight. The van's tires crunch over gravel as Ruiz swerves off the flooded road, the engine growling like it's pissed to be working this hard. They're headed straight for this old hydroelectric station, a hulking relic squatting near the falls. Its rusted walls loom up through the haze, streaked with brown and green where the damp's eaten into the metal over decades. The place looks like it's been dead since the 70s. Windows cracked or boarded, a big steel door hanging half off its hinges, swaying slow in the wind. The roar of the falls is louder here, a deep, bone-rattling thud that mixes with the slosh of that red water creeping closer. Tom's got his face pressed to the van window, wiping fog off the glass with his sleeve, and he mutters, "This is your safe spot? Looks like a damn tomb." Ruiz doesn't answer, just kills the engine and kicks her door open, the creak of it cutting through the quiet. "Inside now," she says, her voice rough, like she's been shouting all day. She's out first, boots hitting the ground with a wet thud, and she's already moving toward the building, flashlight in hand, its beam bouncing off the rusted walls. Tom climbs out after her, his work boots slipping a little on the slick gravel, and he steadies himself against the van, cursing under his breath. Jess is next, helping Maddie down, her hands firm on her daughter's shoulders. Maddie's still clutching her phone, but the screen's dim now, battery on its last legs. "This place is creepy as hell," she says, her voice small but sharp, like she's trying to sound braver than she feels. Jess just nods, her lips tight, and nudges her forward. "Stay close, Mads. No wandering." Inside, it's like stepping into a freezer. Cold, damp air hits them hard, smelling of mold and old machinery. The floor's concrete, cracked and uneven, with puddles of stagnant water reflecting Ruiz's flashlight in little shimmery pools. Rusted pipes snake along the walls, dripping slow, each plink echoing in the cavernous space. There's this low hum, too. Not the falls, but something mechanical, buried deep in the building, like a generator that's been running on fumes forever. Tom's already poking around, his mechanic instincts kicking in. He finds this beat-up metal desk shoved against a wall, its drawers hanging open, papers spilling out like someone left in a hurry. He yanks one open wider, the screech of metal on metal making Jess jump, and pulls out a logbook, its cover soaked through, pages curling at the edges. He flips it open, squinting at the faded ink under the dim light filtering through a busted skylight. "Listen to this," he says, his voice low but urgent, like he stumbled onto something big. Jess steps closer, peering over his shoulder, filming the room with her dying phone. Tom reads aloud, stumbling over the smudged words. October 63, Cold War lab upstream. Agent Red bioweapon trial. Meant to incapacitate hostiles, but subjects turned feral. Pain immune, no fear response. Test failed, containment breached. He pauses, flipping a page, water dripping from the binding onto his boots. Dam breach ordered 64, bury the site, classified. He slams the book shut, the sound bouncing off the walls, and looks at Ruiz, who's frozen by the door, her flashlight trembling just a hair. "This wasn't no accident," he says, slow and hard. "They blew the dam to hide this crap." Before Ruiz can respond, Maddie's voice cuts in, shaky. "Guys, something's out there." She's got her phone aimed at one of the grimy windows overlooking the falls. The red water's churning outside, and then, there it is, a husk lurches up from it, all jerky and wrong, like its bones don't fit right. Its skin's gray and slick, peeling in spots, and its head tilts at this impossible angle, staring right at them. It opens its mouth, and this guttural rasp comes out, low and wet.
Jess!
Jess stumbles back, her sneakers skidding on the wet floor, and grabs Maddie's arm. "What the? How does it know my name?" Her voice cracks, panic seeping through her calm. Ruiz spins around, her flashlight beam swinging wild, and she mutters, "Damn it, it's here." She steps closer to Tom, her face pale under the hazmat hood. The screams on the radio, those were the staff, from the lab. It got out back then and they covered it up. I didn't know it'd still be alive. Her words hang there, heavy, and then the room erupts. Glass shatters, loud and sharp, as more husks slam against the windows. Their hands, too long, fingers webbed, claw at the frames, splintering wood and bending metal. This low, dissonant hum fills the air, like a lullaby gone sour, vibrating through the floor into their bones. It's not loud, but it's everywhere, worming into your head. Jess screams as one gets through, its arms snaking in, grabbing at her jacket. Its nails, black, jagged, dig into the fabric, and she twists, kicking at it, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. Tom's on it in a second, lunging forward, his boots pounding the concrete. He grabs Jess around the waist and yanks her back hard, the husk's grip tearing her sleeve with a loud rip. "Get off her!" he bellows, swinging a rusty pipe he'd snatched off the floor, cracking it against the thing's arm. It pulls back, rasping, but more are coming, their hum rising, a chorus of broken voices. The side door bangs open then, and this FEMA soldier stumbles in. Young guy, maybe 25, wild-eyed and shaking, his hazmat suit torn at the shoulder. He's clutching a key card, fumbling with it like he's forgotten how it works. "They promised me safety," he mumbles, his voice high and frantic. "Said it'd be fine if I stayed quiet." His hands are trembling, and Tom notices it. His veins under the skin, pulsing this faint red, like something's crawling through him. The guy swipes the card at a rusted lockbox on the wall, popping it open, and a side door clicks unlocked, revealing a dark hallway beyond. "Go, go!" he shouts, but he's swaying now, sweat beading on his forehead. Another husk presses its face to the window near Maddie. Its jaw unhinges just a little, showing teeth stained red, like it's been chewing on something bloody. It mimics her, a warped echo of her livestream intro. "Hey, it's Mads!" Maddie freezes, her phone slipping in her hands, and Jess pulls her close, wrapping her arms around her tight. "Don't look at it," she whispers, her voice trembling now, all that teacher calm gone. Tom rounds on Ruiz, pipe still in hand, his face red with fury. "You knew about this? You brought us here?" Ruiz backs up a step, hands up, but she doesn't deny it, just shakes her head, like she's out of excuses. The soldier's on his knees now, coughing wet and ragged, that red in his veins spreading fast. The husk's hum gets louder, rattling the pipes overhead, and the flashlight beam catches more shadows moving outside, too many to count. They've got seconds, maybe, before this place turns into a death trap. So they're booking it now. Piling through that side door, the FEMA soldier unlocked before he hit the floor. The hallway beyond is this narrow maintenance tunnel, all concrete and rusted pipes, stretching out into the dark like it's got no end. Tom's leading the charge, his boots splashing through ankle-deep water, warm, too warm, like it's been sitting under a heater all day. It's that same red mess from the falls, seeping in through cracks in the walls, and every step sends up little waves that slap against the sides, this wet schluck echoing ahead of them. The air's thick down here, heavy with that chemical tang, mixed with something sour, like damp rot that's been festering too long. Jess is right behind him, one hand gripping Maddie's wrist, pulling her along as the girl stumbles, her sneakers slipping on the slick floor. "Keep up, Mads," Jess says, her voice sharp but shaky, like she's trying to hold it together for both of them. Ruiz brings up the rear, her flashlight swinging wild in her hand, the beam flickering like it's about to give up. It catches on the walls, old graffiti scratched into the concrete, faded tags from workers long gone, now smeared with that red water trickling down. Maddie's phone is dead now, the screen black as she shoves it into her hoodie pocket, her breath hitching. "I can't see crap," she mutters, her voice small, and Jess squeezes her hand tighter. "Just stay with me, okay? We're getting out." The tunnel's tight, barely wide enough for two abreast, and every few steps, Tom's shoulder brushes the wall, scraping rust flakes onto his jacket. He's muttering to himself, "Gotta be a way out of this hellhole," his words half lost in the sloshing. Then, something moves up ahead. A shadow shifts, quick and jerky, and this whisper ripples through the water. Not words yet, just a low hiss that bounces off the walls. Tom freezes, holding up a hand, and the group stumbles to a stop behind him. "You hear that?" he says, low, his eyes narrowing as he squints into the gloom. Jess nods, her free hand brushing the tunnel wall for balance, and she whispers back, "Yeah, sounds close." Ruiz's flashlight flickers again, weaker now, and she smacks it against her palm, the thwack sharp in the quiet. "Battery's dying," she says, her voice tight. "We need to move faster." Tom's already scoping the tunnel, his mechanic brain kicking into gear. He spots this old junction box bolted to the wall, its cover half off, at wires spilling out like guts. "Gimme a sec," he says, stepping over, water soaking his jeans up to the shins. He digs into his pocket, pulling out a small multi-tool, beat-up thing he's carried forever, and starts prying at the box, metal scraping metal with a grating scree. Jess watches him, shifting her weight, the water lapping at her ankles. "Tom, hurry. They're coming." She's right. Those whispers are louder now, wet and guttural, threading through the hum that's starting to rattle the pipes overhead. Then it lunges, a husk, all twitching limbs and slick gray skin, bursting out of the dark like a trap snapping shut. It's fast, too fast, its webbed hands clawing for Tom mid-step. He twists, yelling, "Son of a!" and jams the multi-tool into the junction box, ripping wires together. Sparks fly, a loud pop-pop-pop as the box shorts out, and a jagged arc of electricity snaps through the water. The husk catches it full on, its body jerking like a marionette, that hum warping into a screech before it flops back, smoking and still. Tom staggers, catching himself on the wall, breathing hard. "Gotcha, you bastard," he pants, shaking out his hand where the shock grazed him. Ruiz steps up, her flashlight barely aglow now, and Tom notices it. Her arm, where her suit's torn from brushing a husk back at the station. It's red, not blood red, but that same pulsing hue they saw in the soldier's veins. She catches him looking and pulls her sleeve down quick, but not before Jess sees it too. "What's that?" Jess asks, her voice sharp, stepping between Ruiz and Maddie. Ruiz grimaces, her face tight. "It's from a graze. This stuff, Agent Red. It bonds to adrenaline. That's why they hunt the scared. Feeds off it." Her words drop like stones and Tom's jaw clenches. "So what, you're a ticking bomb now?" Before she can answer, the tunnel shakes, hard. A deep rumble rolls through, the falls eroding the ground somewhere above, and dust sifts down from the ceiling, pattering into the water. Jess steadies herself, grabbing Maddie's shoulder, and scans ahead. "There, look!" She points up the tunnel, maybe 50 feet. There's a faint square of gray light. An exit, cut into the wall, a rusted ladder leading up. But then, a husk steps into the frame, blocking it. It's tall, hunched, its milky eyes locked on Maddie, unblinking. Its head twitches, and that rasp comes out again, mimicking her live stream. "Hey, it's Mats!" Maddie flinches, pressing back into Jess, who wraps an arm around her tight. "Don't listen," Jess whispers, her voice trembling but firm. The flashlight dies then, plunging them into near black, just that gray exit glow ahead. Ruiz curses, shaking it uselessly, and the hum kicks up, low, vibrating the walls, making the water ripple under their feet. Tom squints, catching something on the tunnel wall near the husk, words forming in the floodwater etched by the currents. "We see you." They're jagged, uneven, like a kid scrawled them with a stick, and they vanish when Ruiz swings her dead flashlight over, the beam too weak to hold them. "What the hell was that?" Tom mutters, but there's no time. The shadows are stretching now, too long, hinting at more husks lurking just out of sight. Ruiz stumbles forward, her voice cracking. "I didn't know it'd spread like this. I swear, they said it was contained." She's pleading now, her arm hanging limp, that red creeping higher under her skin. Tom and Jess trade a look, hard, quick, like they're weighing it. "You're slowing us down," Tom says. His tone flat, and Jess nods, her grip on Maddie tightening. "We can't wait for her." Ruiz's eyes widen, but she doesn't argue, just steps aside, leaning against the wall, her breathing shallow. The hum's everywhere now, a chorus of rasps and whispers, and that husk at the exit doesn't move, just stares, its shadow pooling too wide in the water. They've got one shot to get past it, and the tunnel's shaking like it's ready to cave. So, they're at the tunnel's end now, that gray square of light spilling down from the exit, but it's no easy out. The red falls are right below, roaring like a beast, their spray kicking up this wet, stinging mist that coats everything. Tom's crouched by the ladder, peering out, his hands gripping the rusted rungs so hard his knuckles go white. The water's close, too close, crashing against the rocks maybe 20 feet down, all red and frothy like it's boiling with whatever's in it. That husk is still there, hunched in the opening, its milky eyes glinting in the dim light, head twitching like it's listening for them. The hum's loud now, buzzing through the air, and the tunnel's shaking worse, chunks of concrete dust raining down, plinking into the water at their feet. Tom spots something off to the side, a beat-up maintenance cart, one of those little electric jobs they use to haul gear around. It's parked crooked on a ledge just outside, half rusted, its yellow paint chipped to hell. "Over there," he says, pointing, his voice rough but steady. "We're not climbing past that thing." Jess nods, her arms still locked around Maddie, who's shivering now, her hoodie soaked from the tunnel water. "Can you get it running?" Jess asks, wiping mist off her face with her sleeve. Tom grunts, already moving. "If it's got juice, I'll make it work." He scrambles up the ladder, keeping low, his boots clanging soft on the metal. The husk doesn't turn yet, but its fingers flex, webbed and slick, like it knows he's there. Tom drops onto the ledge, crouching by the cart, and pops the panel under the steering wheel with his multi-tool. Wires spill out, frayed and damp, but he's in his element now, twisting them fast, muttering, "Come on, you piece of junk." Sparks flicker, a sharp zeet cutting through the fall's roar, and the cart's motor coughs to life, this weak, whining hum that's barely audible over the chaos. He looks back, waving. "Jess, Maddie, now!" Jess pushes Maddie up the ladder first, her hands steadying her daughter's shaky climb. "Go, go," she urges, her voice tight, and Maddie scrambles out, tumbling onto the ledge beside Tom. Jess is right behind, pulling herself up quick, her sneakers slipping once before she catches herself. The husk moves then, fast, lurching toward them with that jerky gait, its rasp echoing. "Mads!" Tom doesn't wait. He slams the cart into gear and floors it, ramming the thing square in the chest. It flails, arms swinging wild, and tumbles over the edge, splashing into the red water below with a wet crack. "Stay down!" Tom yells, and Jess ducks, pulling Maddie with her, the girl's breath hitching like she's about to cry. Ruiz is still in the tunnel, lagging behind, her flashlight long dead. She staggers up the ladder slow, one hand clutching her arm where that red spread, her skin's mottled now, veins pulsing under it like roots. She's breathing hard, ragged, and when she hits the ledge, she stumbles, catching herself against the cart. "Tom," she says, her voice breaking, "take this." She shoves her radio into his hands, a bulky thing cracked on one side, its antenna bent. "I'm infected. The grays, it's got me." Her eyes are glassy, but she's holding it together, barely. Tom stares at her, his jaw tight, and takes it, his fingers brushing hers, cold, too cold. "You're not coming?" Jess asks, her voice sharp, but she's already shifting Maddie behind her, protective. Ruiz shakes her head, stepping back toward the tunnel mouth. "Can't, but I can buy you time." She turns, limping to a rusted propane tank bolted to the wall, old, leaking, a faint hiss of gas mixing with the mist. She grabs a flare from her belt, hands trembling as she twists it open, the red glow flaring bright. "Go," she shouts, and Tom doesn't argue. He hits the gas, the cart lurching forward, tires skidding on the wet stone. They're halfway up the ledge when the explosion hits, a deafening boom that shakes the ground, heat washing over their backs. Tom glances back, just for a second. The tunnel mouth collapses in a spray of rock and fire, the red falls lighting up like their bleeding flame, pulsing like a heartbeat against the sky. Ruiz is gone, buried with the husks, and the hum cuts off sharp, leaving just the fall's roar and the cart's whining motor. Jess twists around, her hair whipping in the wind, and mutters, she didn't have to, but trails off, swallowing hard. The cart bumps up a rocky path, climbing toward high ground, a grassy bluff overlooking the river, away from the flood. Husks are still down there, clawing up from the water, their shapes blurry in the mist. One lunges, snagging Jess's shoe. Its nails scrape the rubber, yanking hard enough to pull the laces loose before Tom swerves, shaking it off. It tumbles back, splashing red, and Jess kicks the air, her breath ragged. Too close, she gasps, pulling her foot up, hugging her knee like she can still feel it. They hit the bluff, the cart rattling to a stop, and Tom cuts the power, the silence hitting heavy after all that noise. The EAS tone blares again from the radio in his lap, "Evacuate Contam," then chops off mid-word, static fizzing out. Maddie's phone, dead in her pocket, flickers. Its screen glows faint, and there's this scratchy sound, Ruiz's last scream looping soft. "Go, go." Jess grabs it from her, staring, her hands shaking. "How's it even on?" she whispers, but Maddie doesn't answer. She's looking out, eyes wide. A faint red mist is rising now, curling up from the falls, drifting slow on the wind toward Buffalo. It's thin, barely there, but it carries this whisper, "More will come." So quiet you'd miss it if you weren't listening. Tom pulls Jess and Maddie close, his arms tight around them, and he's sobbing now, these rough, broken sounds he can't hold back. We're okay, he says, like he's convincing himself, his voice cracking. Jess buries her face in his shoulder, her breath hot against his neck. But Maddie, she's still staring at that mist, her purple hair sticking to her cheeks. Then her phone flares bright, the screen lighting up their faces in the dark. It's them, on the display, grainy and live, like it's filming from somewhere else. They're huddled there, watching themselves, and Maddie's voice shakes as she whispers, "Dad, what's it mean?" Tom doesn't answer, just tightens his grip, his eyes locked on that mist creeping north, knowing whatever's coming, they're not done running. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more creepy stories. Stay safe, and see you in the next nightmare.